the character analysis of every male character and presumed to be male characters in the government inspector. The first one is Anton Antovich, the governor or the mayor of the town. He, to me, screams very lazy, very lazy, bossy kind of guy, just kind of trying to get his job done at the end of the day. He would speak kind of like Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec. But how he acts is basically just giving giving his work to his assistant more than he does his own work. The director of schools, or Luca, I would imagine him to act more like a teacher, kind of. Not like a teacher, but like a school authority, like someone who speaks fairly calmly, but because he's also in like cahoots with like Anton is also a corrupt and lazy official, he'd also kind of like be fairly lazy, barely doing his job adequately. Animus, the judge, I could imagine him to kind of sound like a not like a not like a mob gangster, but something similar to maybe a snake oil salesman, very quick to sell, but not in a way, but more or less trying to get stuff done. Maybe a little not hypocritical, but very annoying, kind of. The postmaster, Ivina, I think how you pronounce the name. I'm assuming male because this is the 18th century. How this character to me, I'm gonna mainly probably speak neutrally for this one, just better to not risk. This character, for the most part, seems very, very active, constantly moving as they're delivering the mail because they're the postmaster. And how I would kind of portray this character is this very, very active person and just constantly on the move. Oh, I think I skipped something. Oh, the commissioner of commissioner and the warden of hospitals. That guy. I imagine him to kind of talk like a doctor in a way, but not a doctor. More like your insurance acting like a doctor, not knowing how to be a doctor. Ivan, the guy mistaken for the inspector. I imagine him to talk like a kind of like sort of basically a person that you find really annoying because they're very pretentious or very, very like, hey, I work for a government, like very much acting like, hey, I have high authority when like they're probably just the intern, because they're working at like Amazon and like they get what's his name, the Jeff Bezos' coffee every day at like 8:42 in the morning. His servant, I imagine to be like a quiet quitting in a way, kind of guy, like complaining about his boss when he's not there, but also being very much working for his boss still. Dopicinus, the two gentlemen who are kind of fairly independent, I can imagine them talking and kind of like, oh, what a lovely day we're having. Oh, everything's going grand, because they just seem fairly just normal, everyday people, who know people in high authority as just acquainted, like kind of close friends. So they'll kind of be in with a lot of the meetings and stuff, but not really a part of it for the most part, fairly independent, more or less, kind of like doing their own things. Dr. Christian Ivovich Hopner, that guy. So the scripts never have the doctor speak any lines, mainly just going like, her, and stuff. But I imagine that if an actor just wants to give this person like at least movement to kind of make him act like he's like this actual professional doctor who wants to, even though can't communicate, try to actually help his patients and actually act as an actual doctor and stuff. Carobin, after learning that he's kind of comic relief, I kind of like the idea of just kind of like um, having fun and being this kind of just like, hey, yeah, kind of fun loving, maybe because it's like he's in his like mid 20s, going through, just trying to have some fun in life. The police superintendent, I kind of like him being very, very like, a mix of like Mr. Gordon and like a lot of depictions in some like media of DC comics of Batman, of him being like this tired police officer who's done with his job, but also being like very, very into his job. The fact that he's basically the highest ranking police officer. The next one is the police constable. And on that Batman analogy, I kind of like this idea that this character basically treats himself in physically that like, I'm the police, I am the justice and stuff, and being very like happy about and proud of what they do, but also kind of like being slightly of a bumbling idiot. Abudine, the shopkeeper. This is where full snake oil salesman, this person really wants to sell their products. So I imagine them to kind of talk and just like, hey, if you buy this is going to be real nice. This is going to help you out with your day. Oh, grab this, get this for the missus. This will make her day. Basically, trying to sell items, even if they're like useless, maybe they're just like a bag of dirt. And the same, kind of the same thing with the other shopkeepers. If they get to speak, if they don't kind of act physically as though it's like they're cleaning their desk and stuff, acting as though they're actually being busy. Don't just stand when you're playing these characters that don't speak in the background. Actually be doing stuff and acting so you can actually make this feel alive. Mishka, the servant of the governor, this character, I imagined kind of the same thing with Osip, Ivan's servant, but maybe a little bit more on just like tired of it because the governor being this very lazy man, Mishka basically is the governor, basically doing a lot of the tasks that even the the assistant of the governor probably doesn't even want to, even though there is no assistant. And the waiter, the waiter for the most part being this actual speaking character, but also not really. The waiter probably, I just kind of imagine just being very nice. And character just wants to keep things going. Being this peacekeeper to a lot of the characters and trying to like help as much as they can and stuff as a way to basically not be annoying and ensure that the other characters are okay and stuff and everything, and it's something important, I guess, to portraying the character well. And I'm gonna go back and give some more special things now. I'm gonna refocus on the governor because I think the governor is really important for this, because this is the governor and Ivan. The governor, when he is under the gaze of trying to make himself look better, I want there to be a way. So how I say it is, you overact that he's this nice and honest and great governor. So you overdo it. You when in the presence of what he thinks is a governor or inspector, or when he's not trying to pose this act, he kind of slouches, kind of just in himself, like, oh my god. But then when he's in front of the government inspector, and if he thinks the government inspector is just walking around, even though he is with the false government inspector the whole time, I imagine him to actually go like, I am the governor. Nice to meet you. I would like to talk to you today. Constantly like going up and down, changing how he acts. Ivan also, when he's just with Osip or by himself, he acts like a brat. He is very much complaining about everything, like, ugh. But when he's with other government officials who are treating him with the same level of respect that he expects, he turns back and also kind of becomes like, "Hello, I'm Ivan," and stuff, and he basically doubles down on how he behaves, and does he kind of complains, but in a more professional level. Whereas just speaking of critiquing, um, even though these characters do have times where you actually have to follow the script of the stage directions, there should be room of interpretation. And of course, I'm going to double back because the postmaster actually has an important role in the story. Is to, especially when he reveals that the inspector that who they thought was the inspector was never the inspector. I imagine him to be very scared to reveal it was like the that person isn't the inspector, and the actual inspector would like to speak with you, and stuff. Very constantly talking, and when he has to slow down to actually reveal something, and I imagine putting a bit of strain onto it because he's always expecting to go at 120 miles per hour, constantly. And it's mainly those three characters that are very important to get down, in my opinion, that to get this look, because these three characters, besides the postmaster, really out of these three, are really important. I feel like to actually have the character and how to have this play, and it's mainly just like the government, Ivan and the governor, which is this dichotomy of like the governor thinks Ivan's the government inspector, and he kind of realizes that I think halfway through, and so he pulls up this ploy to act like a government inspector and to ensure that he keeps being treated well, and he's afraid that his actual rank is revealed, because the whole reason why he's been complaining at the hotel the whole time was because he just lost a bunch of his money gambling, and so this poise of just false identity really, I feel like you need to get down in the play, is to show these characters not knowing which each character is entirely, and by not overacting but like acting two different ways depending on who's there in the scene really definitely should be done, especially with like the governor and Ivan, because it's very important.